Hey guys, we have made it to week 4, program development and grants. This week we are we've moved for a little bit from objectives and kind of need statement objectives, those kind of things we did last week, which I'm still looking at, and I'll try to get back to you guys as quickly as possible. But we're moving out of that realm into budgeting. And we have one discussion this week. And you can go ahead, and this week is when we start beginning to piece together your grant proposal. Okay. And I know that kind of puts us in a short time frame before your proposal is due that next Wednesday, but I will try to get your feedback to you as quickly as I can. As soon as you guys turn them in, if you turn them in earlier, I can try to get your feedback back as quick as I can. Just keep that in mind when turning in. I'll try to get back to you Sunday, Monday at the latest. Okay. All right. In week 4 discussion, we are you're doing a kind of draft run of your budget and budget justification. And what I mean by budget and budget justification is there is a budget template within the proposal folder. It's also listed below in the week 4 information. There's a template there. It's an Excel document, and it has it's kind of a blank, just a framework where you can input your budgeting information in. There's also a template budget justification. Budget justifications, or you might hear me call it budget narrative. Those are kind of interchangeable words in grant land, that accompanies your budget, that explains those line items. So maybe if you have $500 in supplies. Well, what is that $500 going to buy? You don't have to be super, super specific, but just explain it a little bit. So, general office supplies, including, paper, pens, printing, binding, that kind of thing, ink cartridges, just something generally what you'll use it for. You don't have to list everything, but just in general. Same thing with like equipment or things like that. There are some built-in things in those templates to kind of help you build that information. So just keep that in mind. So that's what we're going to be doing. And this is really where budgeting is really where the project gets real, because we take a hard look at, okay, what's it really going to take to make this happen? Because now it's all just been a concept, right? This is where it gets, like I said, gets real, and you have to figure out exactly how we're going to spend money to make us meet these objectives we've been working on. Okay. So a lot of times this is the point where folks may decide to change their topic, and that's okay. If you want to do that, or if you have questions about it, just contact me. We can definitely talk about it, and get you straightened out. Because like I said, I'm working through the week 2 stuff, and I think I should have all that back to you guys. But some of you had very broad ideas, maybe statewide or multiple agencies, or we're going to provide all this stuff. Well, that's great, but for the purposes of this class, that may be a bit much for a 5-week class, meaning that you may want to pare that down, make it a little bit smaller. Otherwise, your budget becomes this massive beast you're trying to tame, because you have to think about all the costs associated with each, entity, each location, all that stuff. So keep it simple. Keep it as simple as you can. On the flip side, you may have something that's too simple, and you may not have enough where you can spend money on something. So you may have to beef it up a little bit and add some more components to it. So, there's kind of a flip side. So, but that's the focus for week 4. There will also be another video. I'll post it on down in week 4 content specific to common pitfalls and things with budgeting. Okay. So that will be there to help as well. But be sure to also start looking at the requirements for your proposal. In the RFP and the proposal tab, we talked about this before, there's the RFP in there. It specifically outlines the requirements for this grant proposal. Now remember, this grant proposal is fictional. We made it up. But there are specific instructions about, the need for a cover page, the need for your budget forms, your budget narrative, an abstract, and then also your written narrative. And all the discussions that we've been doing every week are kind of helping you move toward that. And I'm giving you feedback on those things and ways to build your program. So, and it gives you page limits. On your narrative and page limits on your, or word limits on your abstract and all that. So be sure, take a look at it. And you will be submitting your completed proposal as one document all together. Your cover sheet, budget form, all of it's going to be all together, like in like one PDF. Okay, so that's how it will go. And also, um, be sure to do it in APA format. You need references and citations for your statements of fact. So be sure you address that as well. Okay. All right, so that kind of wraps up for week 4. Week 5 will be pretty light. We'll be just focusing on finishing, putting together that grant proposal. So I know this has been a whirlwind and a quick and dirty intro to grants, but hopefully you're picking up some good information and some basic skills where if you want to apply this in your own practice or in your own employer, your own agency, you have the tools you need to at least do this. So hopefully you picked up some things along the way. So that kind of does it for week 4, but be sure to also check out the video on budgeting. Take care.